Welcome back, everyone, to the VALORANT Game Changers North America Series 1 Grand Finals, where we just wrapped up map number 1 between Shopify Rebellion as well as version 1. And while the result was the one that I think a lot of people may have expected, this was still the closest map that we have seen from the side of any map from version 1 in this tournament, Heather.
Yeah, they don't give up too many rounds. I think it was Misfits earlier. I believe that was in the qualifier that they took 8 rounds. So this is the first time I guess you could say they've been challenged. It still looked quite dominant. If you ignore some of the eco rounds that happened, it was still very much a version 1 win, it seemed like.
Indeed. And before I go on, I need to address the massive elephant in the room. Her name is Fluorescent, and Mimi, I know we spent a lot of time hyping her up, but as we saw from her frags on the server, my God, could we all feel her impact?
Well, it's not very nice to call her an elephant, especially after how well she played.
She's a talented elephant, you know?
She is a very talented one indeed. Floor had an incredible map, and let's just get it out of the way, because she's always going to force us to talk about her, but she is incredible individually. Paula was talking a lot about it on the cast, but I think in this V1 squad, you can see her progress as a player. She's still going for individual plays, but she's so refined in the way she does it. She goes for that opening up shot, gets a kill, backs up, repositions instantly to the other side of the map, and is ready for another fight. She's showing not just that she can be fantastic in her individual prowess, but also be such a massive asset to Mel's calling and the team as a whole. I love seeing the progress for her, and I think already, we talked about it before, but this grand final is a chance for her to prove that she could be the best player here in Game Changers in North America, and that map number 1 definitely puts her on that track.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to deny that, I think, that at this point, if you want to top her stats. But I'm just so impressed by how versatile she is. She's all across the entire map. And then, of course, they just couldn't stop her. As soon as she gets an operator in her hands, it's almost impossible. And she's re-peaking things that most people really shouldn't re-peak.
That 1v2 clutch had all of us audibly gasping out loud. Just one of those rounds where if you're on the side of Shopify Rebellion, you wonder what the hell happened. As we take a look at the stats here, it goes without being said, Mimi, that first half was definitely a lot closer, and it definitely looked like Shopify Rebellion was showing up in different form, especially compared to yesterday in that upper bracket final.
Yeah, their defensive side was quite good, I would say. Their retakes were on point. I think both KP and Lori were having a really good half and doing a good job at giving opportunities to Sonder, but V1 recovered in that half and played an incredible defensive side as well. And I think a big part of that was the value that this Viper was providing. In that first half, the Viper Orb constantly denying mid gave so many options for Mel to call in these mid rounds, and once we got to the second half as well, they had that flood retake wall always up towards B, and were fast to rotate to be able to play off it. You saw value coming from the one-way towards short, as well as the mollies to take control of space in mains. This comp was well thought out from V1, and I think that they executed on it in a very strong way. Still though, SR were actually able to make adaptations, play a much closer map here, and I mean, you can even see it in this last round, some of the value from that Viper, right? The wall comes up, you have players hiding on the other side. You can put it down whenever you choose and be ready to fight. It was just a variety of cool stuff from V1, I felt.
Yeah, and you love to see, like, they're always willing to try some new comps, some new agents. Again, we don't necessarily see the Viper on this map too often. A lot of unique looks that maybe Shopify wasn't necessarily prepared for.
I know we spent a little bit of time earlier talking about Fluorescent, and for obvious good reason. Sonder showing up as the MVP on the side of Shopify Rebellion as well, the 2 Jets absolutely shining. But Mimi, Noya had such a presence in that 10th round with that clutch. It's just fantastic to see the multiple members from the side of V1 showing up.
Yeah, Noya was really good throughout this map, and that's his thing, right? Sarah and Alexis had a bit of a tougher game. They weren't huge in the individual department, but that didn't matter because the game plan was sound, and because, to be honest, this V1 squad is the Game Changers super team that we have been waiting for. All 5 of these players are such fantastic individuals. The way they play together is on point, and you see that because we just get these maps where Noya goes crazy and pops off.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch Noya's progression over there. We don't have a lot of like import players, right, in North America. This is kind of new for Game Changers. So to see Noya come over, play on X set, usually kind of finish in that like 5th to 6th, 7th to 8th range. And now to see her on what looks like to be a championship winning team, it's a really fun and exciting progression for this player.
Now, as we get ready for Agent Select on that second map, it will be on Pearl, which is a map that we saw version 1, of course, dominate on, but also from the side of Shopify Rebellion, we saw them win in mega overtime against XZ yesterday, Mimi.
Yeah, that we did. They looked solid on that map, and they did a good job of adapting against the side of XZ. But I did see some issues. They were playing this double controller composition, and I think the Phoenix comp that Exit was playing as well was really good against that. They were flashing through, fighting forward to try and stop that Harbor from playing to its win conditions of getting those plants across on the attacking side. And in the past, V1 has played a similar Phoenix comp. They actually played the variation that Cloud9 was playing at both Lock-In and in VCT Americas, where you have the Phoenix and the Sage. And that comp, in a way, is kind of built to be an anti-Harbor Viper comp. And while they've played other comps in the past, I expect them to go back to that one and be prepared for this map, because they likely expected SR to bring it early in this pool.
And then we talked about Sonder and Flower up front at the start of the show. You know, yes, historically, like this was kind of a Raze map where Sonder was playing, but you know, we've seen her succeed the most on Jet, and she pulled that out yesterday and had some shining moments. And then of course, Flowerful, that anchor on the site with her Killjoy, again, countless like 2K, 3K rounds, putting her team at an immediate advantage.
Yeah, she was incredible throughout that one. And this is kind of a weird map if V1 do go back to that Phoenix pick, because it means that we don't get to see Fluorescent on the Jet. And it's not like there's a Harbor Viper composition on this side. It's not like you have the same walls to be able to cover up space and deal with Oppers. It is really just the kind of plethora of flashes you get with the Phoenix in the sky to shut that down. So I think there is some potential for Sonder to have a pop-off map on that Jet roll. Because, well, she wasn't the shining star for Shopify in map 1. She definitely got overshadowed by Fluorescent. She was still very good, and her opping was impactful when she had it in her hands.
Well, looks like we have Agent Select ready, and as we get ready to dive in, Mimi, I know you've been sort of brainstorming on what we can expect here, but final predictions before we lock all the agents in.
I just hope it's that Phoenix Sage comp again, but if they go back to the Jet comp, that's fine too, because it's good for them, and that is what they're electing to do, Heather.
Yeah, I think that's what that's where they're comfortable with. They saw a lot of success yesterday on it, so it makes sense to me. And then of course, like KP, love to see that come out with the Harbor. She's had a lot of success there.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the old comp before Harbor Viper came into the meta. What you do get with this is the Sova as well as the KO, which gives a lot of resources to set Floor up for success. Expect Alexis to be flashing her through the Harbor Viper utility and giving Floor opportunities to shine.
Well, with that, we are ready to bring everyone map number 2 in this grand finals between version 1 and Shopify Rebellion. Doug and Bala, it's all yours.
Thank you, Sue. The second map perhaps has the potential to show us something different. We saw them play this map yesterday, but given some of the adjustments that we saw out of version 1 in the first half, I think the onus is on Shopify. It's on KP. It's on this composition to be executed well, and honestly, it's on Sonder to continue to perform.
Yeah, and we had an insane battle against XZ on Pro yesterday. XZ was running that weird Phoenix comp, and I think it played pretty good against the Harbor Viper. We'll see if a more traditional approach from V1 here, which I would call the Navi comp, could do some damage with the Sova, with the KJ. Mimi was talking about how you could set up a lot of trap plays. That's by default what's going to happen. It is the attack side first, so Shopify's control. We'll see if V1 ups the pace and just batters through the combination of walls that can be thrown out here.
Where it is set up, I already have some of the utility towards B. Harbor's going to be pushing across mid-map. Looking to set up Jet. Looking to set up Sonder, who we were just mentioning.
She's going really deep, too. They cleared out shop. Gonna smoke and potentially walk up. Oh, she's smoking the turret. And I think Noya heard that, so that's a lot of misinformation. V1 might be poised to just walk into the site here, and they will. But there's a stack.
Here. Yeah, Benita's already spotted all of the hit, and they try to swing around from Ard, and they're instantly stuffed by version 1. Again.
And the idea there to walk through is so good. You saw how the orb, how the molly was way too late for Benita. Every single player who was actually in that A main hit was in front of it. Compare that to Ascent, where they actually got the delay down this time. Unbeatable. They still have a drone too. Sarah didn't even use that on the execute.
the benefit of going contact in certain situations. They start to swing out. They've got the dart, they've got the 2 kills, and they have the pistol on side V1.
Noya had her turret on the backside too, so they're super confident just go for a quadruple swing. What a good pistol for V1. And they've definitely been consistent with them against this V1 squad, or against this Shopify squad over the last 2 days. It's because of moments like that. Being able to read the situation, be able to call on the fly, that's a fantastic call out of Mel. And I think early on in Ascent, I was seeing a little bit of a slower calling pace from Mel. A lot slower to actually call for the hits, never decisive in walking out on site, something like that. This is a switch up here on Pearl early on in the map. Look at that flash over shot. That was really cool to walk through the wall.
Yeah, and block off any view from main, but version 1 have fully taken B-long control.
Yeah, knife cleared out back hole too, so they're not really concerned. They're gonna still wait for the smokes to come down. Stars just went down. And I think they heard that flash early, so they're wondering, is there going to be a flank? And there will be, but Noya's watching.
Yeah, she saw one other go through as well. So she should have an idea that there's more pressure. The turret, Ilo's not in time. It doesn't matter, KP still get the shots out. Remember, it was just pistols on side of Shopify. You see Benita getting spammed through the wall, leaving Flowerful in this one before.
And there's just no threat there for Benita to really find anything. You didn't have like a Marshall or anything that they didn't clear. Still had the wall for Flowerful to get maybe some spike pressure on, but lovely round from Noya too, recognizing that there could be a potential flank, watching the angle before her alarm bot even goes off. And then also falling once she realizes there's more pressure coming her way, falling back into her own turret. Very well done from Noya. A solid anti-eco here from V1. And remember, it was a thrifty round on the second, immediately out from Shopify on Ascent. So one thing about these best of fives is it's where the new teams get really pushed in terms of their map pool. Is everything prepped? So far, so good from V1. We'll see if it's still a flowy style. Out of mid again, Sonder.
I mean, the version 1 had 3 players go through the wall, and they've already been able to work their way down Blink. They bully Bonita out of the way, and now they have full control. The thing is, they're going to be hunted. They're going to be proud behind.
Somebody's got to help Floor here.
Floor may not need help. 20 HP, looking for another. The spam's not landing. Both clips are dry, but KP gets the win.
Can't use that yet. Blocking vision.
It went sideways. This was the bonus round out for version 1. And it was dicey and it was hairy, but Shopify are on the board.
That's exactly what I was talking about, actually, about like the flowy, disruptive style that so far I've seen here on V1 side. Maybe tells you they're not as prepped as it might seem on this map. Because there, the cascade came through. They were not ready for that B push. They were not ready for that mid push, excuse me. They kind of just went through with their original plan, which is everybody go through B-Link and pressure fast, break the alarm bot. And once they realized that they were getting pinched on both sides, they really didn't know what was ahead of them. They had to call a freeze, and it slowed them down enough that they didn't get into the B site quick enough for Floor to get away.
Reckoning already online for KP. And it's very similar to that wall that we just saw in the previous round. Out from Harbor, from Art, to try to control mid-map.
No, he's been great in these positions, though. And again, flexing her turret or alarm bot on different sides. Cascade double used up to really take full control of this, and Noia's going to be challenged the hardest she's been so far on this map.
Oh, the timing here is going to be everything. The timing's going to be everything, and Noia's not able to get any of it. So now they have nothing to control the flank as they try to hit on A. The Reckoning used Fluorescent fully sending, spamming, controlling the spray and getting the kill. Sarah trying to do a bit of the same, but it's Mel who cleans KP
They're
up.
all stunned. Every single player on V1 stunned. The flank's coming.
They're being pinned from both sides, and they're getting kills on both sides. Shopify are. Well done.
They need to find an answer very fast here to these double cascades that are coming up from KP. And there's been multiple looks too. Remember the high tide that covered all of mid so that they could walk behind it on the eco. Because Noya is getting absolutely battered when that happens. In the previous round, she was the player top mid that you're able to deal with really well. And it's just consistent value from Sonder there. A new look for Shopify. And V1 down to pistols.
Blinded.
is almost, maybe not to the same degree, but it does feel slightly reminiscent to what we were talking about on Ascent, where Shopify have been able to get out of the gates on these two maps way more effectively than they did yesterday. Right? If they're able to continue these hot starts, we may have a closer series.
These KP-led teams in the grand finals have always delivered some level of challenge. It might not seem that way with the map record they have in the grand finals against former Cloud9 White of 2-12.
Yikes.
But all those maps, in a lot of cases, end up being either closer than you expect, or the series overall tends to be a little bit more of a fight from the very beginning with Shopify. When push comes to shove, these KP teams, the Shopify team, definitely can challenge with the best. Mimi's alluded to their grand finals performance against G2, their win against Cloud9 White, that essentially
30 seconds left.
was the last time we saw that team, that dynasty.
Insane shot out from Alexis in from floor as well. KP, the wall, the spam in the flash. Shopify keep them all back.
That is disgusting from KP. Shot 2 bullets of the shorty, and then goes the Vandal, and somehow is running backwards like it's Die Hard, and she gets 2 kills. Yippee-ki-yay, Lori on the other side too, the flash is nasty. Those are the types of holds that you consistently saw in Ascent. And I think this one is giving me a lot. Again, I keep saying it's a different vibe here from V1. But it really is. Again, this cascade down mid, she's throwing that all the way back from sewer, so no danger. And it's threatening Noya so hard. Look, Noya's not even watching in mid anymore. And they are completely deathballed.
No op shot yet. Finally fires off and goes a bit wide. Spams as he tried to punish Saunders'
Just go back up. Oh my goodness. Just missed the updraft.
Yeah. In the face of the flash, you see Noya going back, making sure there's no one pinching around. A second flash through for Sonder to take the space and hold the angle. 3 members of version 1 currently concealed. And the timing is perfect on the swing, man.
3 members of version 1 all swing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Start to see a second bit of utility, and there's going to be some pressure all coming in from Shopify from their spawn. No flank to worry about. Just Fluorescent to worry about as she gets a third. Looking for the 4th, and she goes up top, dashes around. Bonita's able to snap, but Mel is too.
Just absurd from Floor, over and over. She impresses. She's the biggest threat right now, 10-4 in 7 rounds. 6 rounds, excuse me. And the way she spray controls is so snappy. Look at this triple peek, that is beautiful stuff. And you can see they were ready for that from the very beginning. Once they got up long, once they forced that wall out from Bonita, you saw they were waiting for it to drop, waiting a little bit. It was Sarah who was tucked all the way in the corner, completely hidden in that corner, that made it work really, really well. Saunders gets way too aggro on that re-peek down belong. For the first time here, there is no cascade in the mid. And that allows V1 to walk into mid, realizing this pressure is not coming. How can they re-explore the link and spot Bonita, but so much control gained.
That knife hits her and she still peeks. Oh boy. Through a shoulder, even after the position's given away.
And Noya pressure.
Oh, that molly's gonna be good. The dash through the molly is good. But
spray transfer again.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Noya taken down though, so they've got this flank again. It's 3v3. Going into spawn.
It's all flank? It's all flanks. Saunders Blades get one. Sarah and Mel remaining. They have the Hunter's Fury. They have to play around, and they can play around. You see him backing up to use that. The tap.
Cove here.
Nice gravity wall up from Mel. What else is there? There's the Hunter's Fury. Saunders going to be the first to take it. She gets it to Half, tries to dash away. Does, but look at that, they dropped around! Mel's wrapped around!
Player standing.
KP trying to deal with Sarah and cannot.
Enemy remaining.
Flori in this 1v2 gotten it down to a 1v1. She's already gotten half, and she's going to stick it the rest of the way, but Sarah's spam through the util is just too good.
That was so sneaky from Mel.
Yeah, it was
Just
bold
jumped out
too,
of heaven.
man.
They should have been watching that for sure, but Mel jumps out of heaven into the cove, and it's positioned in such a way that the players who are dealing with the Hunter's Fury, they are scattering because of it, lose track of their win conditions. Very, very nicely played 2v3. But again, the same problems are showing themselves. The game plan that Shopify is coming out with is working. The pressure that they're applying to Noya, she's 1 in 5, she was so good on Ascent, is too difficult for anybody to handle. The multi-pronged flank late in the round.
Water rising.
Get out of my way!
Slade's online. Yep. And again, we see that Harbor util across the middle of the map.
They really want to go through this pit. That scares me. They have a drone.
Deploying drone.
Can't get canceled unless a molly lands on her feet. And will they find her? No, she's just hiding out in church. A little good pocket from her, but over top! Oh my goodness.
Literally above her!
Sight.
And Bonita falls. The pit goes with her.
Single-handedly just cleared out the pit. From the top, from the skies.
Single-handedly cleared by Sonder as well. But even through that, even through some of the heroics and the early kill out from Sonder, it's still Shopify who find themselves down drastically in numbers. The shock dart kill for Sarah to get there her third. And that, I mean, that's a super clean hold, Ball. You're absolutely right. For Floor to be able to do that on her own is filthy.
That's disgusting. Up traps over top, you have one player actually holding for that from Art rather than playing in the pit. Gets that kill and then finds herself falling directly on top of Bonita. Look at this. What do you even do there as Bonita? You're trying to dodge the util coming out, the flash from Alexis. All that sort of thing. And just get doved on.
What do you do after that? You call a timeout. You call a timeout given the fact that this half is still competitive and you can still keep things within reach. I just don't, I mean, it'll be tough to talk through what are the adjustments that you can make here. You have some tools, as you see Barracks now showing us some of that in the Reckoning, in the Lockdown as well. So you've got some things in your kit if you're Shopify to hold, but hey, version 1, I really, these last 3 rounds, we go back to the individual playmaking from Flora, the fact that they've handled the mid-aggression from Shopify so well. I just wonder what the adjustments will be.
I have to point out, too, that this will be a gun round. They'll get their op online, but the last round was not, so they invested that pit. And I think that's what gave the confidence for V1 to go for that, just knowing there's not many weapons on the other side, but he just had a stinger. But either way, back to the same game plan that's been working somewhat for Shopify. Just got to be cleaner on the late rounds. But I love this out from them. This is the drone down B-long, the recall as well, which is claiming that they're doing that B-long control.
Yeah.
And forcing and giving Shopify the option to go for this mid-flank if you do want to. And that's why they're all re-clearing together. They're solving the problems here out of the timeout that they've been faced with. But the problem there, Shopify was actually opping down B-long. They recognized that recall, nobody crossed with it. And so now they don't have a drone to actually clear out Sonder.
Yeah, that was the first bit of utility used and cleared instantly.
I think a major question here, Doug, is whether they're actually through sewers here for KP, because she was for the longest time not there. Not watching.
The dart missed! The dart was just too low, and Sonder was able to hold the angle. That dart was intended to push her off. They still have B-Link control as well.
Go behind that cascade.
Starting to now work through. KP dropping some util. And just overwhelmed. Now Reckoning online. Sonder still with the op back sight. KP causing problems too, dealing damage. How much can Alexis find? A 2v3 in favor of Shopify with 13 seconds left. The spike's still not planted yet. It's playing back sight. Big out from Noya. She's got to find value here. She's alone now. She cannot.
Fantastic hold for the players of Shopify there, even when things went really badly. I think in that entire round, I think obviously Sonder getting the pick down B-long right there on the fluorescence, very, very nice. But you're right, the dart missed, so they didn't have what it took to clear. So mistakes on both sides. Actually, I wouldn't even call it mistakes from Shopify. It's just the way that that round went. They lost control of B-Link. They didn't actually know how close they were to them. And that's what got them the first kill on the Lori, who was trailblazing and clearing back B-Long. But KP did a wonderful job to fall back, use her Reckoning. It's free. Now Sunder applying more pressure, but the drone this time.
So cheeky. The drone's cleared by KP, and Sonder takes the space, blows Alexis's arm off.
Oh, it was a cascade and not a cove used, and that cost Sonder her life. So no more pressure, and they're going to use for a Cosmic Divide here to go for a plant.
They've got to pressure KP. KP can peek out behind the wall, yeah. And she has. Nell getting the spike down, still playing around the utility, and now they have a lockdown that they can navigate around. But it's responded in kind.
That's a well-timed lockdown right as the spike goes down. So this defender lockdown is not actually going to find too much value. It's Benita who needs to be a factor on this flank.
Yeah, but once again, yeah, she's there and she's spotted by the alarm bot, still pushing forward. Old in this attempt in a short time. There's really no reason to go for anything else. Noya's playing in the smoke. Benita just being a nuisance right now as the second volley's put out. Benita's dropped. Lori, the first to tap, the spams through the wall. It looks like she may be able to get to half, but that's all it is. And I don't even know if it got to half exactly. Yeah, it did. Fireful's on the challenge. Noya's on the kill. Version's on the round.
6-4 now. And that one was a very, very clean approach there, version 1. Still Sonder gets the first kill. Still they don't have the protocols there for Alexis to clear backhaul, but they don't need to because Sonder's traded out. I was thinking about how KP did not invest that cove there to help Sonder and herself get out. But it's definitely a good idea to try to save that as much as possible for post-play. So investing in Cascade instead, and that leads to Sonder getting killed. But the thing as well, Sonder is activating her dash every time trading out with the drone, so she never has it for when the hit comes through.
They hear the turret. They know it's there. A second cascade.
And that was from much closer. They know.
Yeah.
Noya knows.
Alexis did too.
That is just a nice little bit of misdirection there from V1, showing Noya inside of shops, and Alexis just playing a nasty off angle in spawn. So they think Noya's the only person watching the flank. With information they've seen belong, they think for sure, okay, we can just walk through spawn. So unfortunately, they don't go through the checklist of clearing their corners, and they lose 2 for it.
2 and very possibly the round. Benita's the only one playing towards B. That's exactly where this version 1 death ball's going. And she's going to spot a lot.
I love how Floyd's just out trapped there in the middle of nowhere because she's got to know where without her gun out. It's a good response, but
30 seconds
to
left.
Floyd's character, how she's just walking around ready to go zoomy.
And Shark Dart's going to keep them back a little bit.
Oh, that one bounced oddly. That would have done a lot of damage.
Yeah. With how weak they are already. KP at only 61 HP. Powerful with no armor. And it was slightly delayed, but the damage comes through anyway.
Last round.
Now
in
looking
the
back
half.
towards the XSET Shopify game yesterday on Pearl. That first half was on the defense for Shopify, so identical here. And it was 7-5 for them. That game ultimately went to overtime. Obviously, there's different strengths for different comps.
Thanks.
But at this point, you're starting to wonder once again, is this half what you want here from Shopify?
Version 1 have invested in op into the hands of Noya, and I'm pretty sure they want to challenge the op that's been down B long, but it's actually towards A.
Yeah,
Saunders playing A.
Noya has free reign now. She can't get too far away from her turret, otherwise Alexis doesn't have anything to peek off of, but doesn't necessarily need it either.
Recalling my bot.
Right now, just the assumption of ops on both sides.
It's just such an interesting call here for Shopify to set up Sonder and A main when the only round V1 was interested was an eco for them and the pistol round. Other than that, it's been fully mid, fully B long.
That's a very good point. They haven't been there very much at all.
So So they're thinking the last round, maybe they gamble something else. They switch it up again. What a knife! Oh my goodness, Alexis just knifed both of them. They know the op's not here now.
And with that, you can see it. They instantly get pacey. They instantly want to go. Fluorescent's going to be the first. Firefall on the other side of the wall. And you've got Benita here as well. Benita's already got spammed.
She has a cubby. She has a cubby.
She holds. I don't think they are fully convinced that she's there. No, they had no idea. Now the spike down. Backside still in favor of version 1, though.
30 seconds left.
They still got to pick up that spike, and Sandra was ready for her. She knew.
25 seconds. They can't pivot. They have to fight. They can't get through the high tide, though.
4v3 here. Numbers for Shopify to potentially get to a 7-5 half. Can they hold back version 1? The op shot lands. The spike falls to the ground as another one falls for version 1. Shopify get to 5. And that was off of the info from the knife. So well set up.
Yeah.
And it was Benita's heroics.
Yeah. Just tucking behind her Viper wall. I'm shocked that Fluorescent there isn't able to call out in time for her teammates. Mel looked like you said it. Looked like she didn't know that she was there entirely. A little bit of a hectic situation there for the IGL and V1 to handle. But it still was a very good half. 7-5 on the attack side, given what we just saw from V1 or from Shopify against XSET yesterday. You wonder now. I'm still of the opinion now that V1, this is one of their maps that they're not as comfortable playing on. They don't have the deepest strat book on. And honestly, with how they've not dropped a single map so far in this tournament, you don't really know, because even if they were playing on this map, they weren't necessarily tested by the strongest opposition. Pistol all the way through. They're going for a fast art push.
And it's only netting more gun kills in favor of version 1. They tried to get aggressive, yeah, through art, and you can see it on the minimap. 3X is lined up in art. Now the spike rotating away, and Noya's already ahead of it. She's going to get back in time to proc the turret to get that back online and get early info once they peek out long.
100%. There it is. Jump spotting. Who spots them both? Recall for all of V1's players. And again, Noya doing so good to fall back into space where she's not going to be under too much pressure. They're going to try to push her, maybe, yes.
There's all tap, but the spam through is early enough to give Noya the Q. Nita gets a kill and should get the spike down. But look at where the remaining members of version 1 are, man. Floor's going up long. And then you have Alexis and Mel who are still playing back in spawn.
Picks up the weapon too. I think they probably heard that. In combination with the knife, they can be relatively certain where she is now.
She's given up so much space. And now she's got to book it back. The first tap to bait her out, and that's exactly what it does.
Mel was in the open there for a second.
Yeah, in astral form and everything.
Yeah, she wanted to put the smoke down on top of the spike.
We defend this place.
And that's what they were waiting for, was that recalled smoke to come back. Another pistol round win. That's both on this map for V1. That's 3 on the series so far. Actually, no, it's 4 on the series. I forgot the first one they got ecoed. I just canceled that one out of my mind.
Placing sentry.
Starting to be a really big strength point here for V1.
Placing swamp grenade.
And just added to the long list of things that it seemed like version 1 do flawlessly.
Yeah.
You mentioned it earlier, and I'd kind of forgotten about it, but they've gone this far without dropping a single map.
Nothing new for the likes of Alexis and Mel. Nothing new whatsoever. Those early iterations of Cloud9 White roster did it, I believe, 3 game changers in a row.
Yeah, it's outrageous the consistency with which they're able to perform. Flora dashing away, feeling the pressure from the Harbor util. They're just going to go hunting, they're just going to go chasing. But Sonder thinking wisely. Backs on up. Spike just now being planted by KP inside. Side, and they have full B control. They have full backside control. You've already got Benita lined up for lineups as well. She's fully holding B long. Version 1 are going to have so much to deal with. They're going to have to try to get back through side, and it looked like that was just a little early.
Mel's down, though, so there's no smoke.
Sandra Manito only 2 that remain. That's the first Molly to go through. Now Sandra falls. There's the second lineup. It's got to be good.
Oh.
Yep, that's good. She gets 2 with it. First with the shot, the second with the Molly. And now time short. What can Noya do with 20 HP? There are no Mollies left, but it's a clutch for Benita. It's a clutch for Shopify Rebellion.
Such a good plan there for Shopify. If we talk about these Harbor Viper comps, I mentioned it a lot yesterday when we were watching Icebox and how Shopify was playing that comp. Gives you a lot of free sites by the nature of breaking up entire sightlines with both walls. And there you can see the Viper wall breaking up Heaven, and then they segmented the site as well with the High Tide Cove to plant. And the follow-up on that is to play so many players in sight that Benita has free reign to use that one way to use her mollies. Because time was ticking, and it was so far gone by the time V1 even had an inkling of where to go. So another eco win for Shopify in the second round of the half.
Perhaps an alarming trend. We'll see if it continues to bite throughout the series. Pistols for version 1 here off of that eco.
Exploring mid for a second there, but then falling right back to what looks like a B stack. Want to gamble all together, and I think it's the right call here. Both teams heading in that direction right now. And you've got Util in the hands of Noya, in the hands of Sarah too, so things could get dicey, and then all of a sudden that Util could pounce. See how they clear backhaul though.
Sarah still has full util, as you were saying. She still has the dart, she still has the drone. She's got everything. That flash is going to get some info. That Molly's going to push back another. They're all back there. They're all back there! And they're going to get all the kills. They've already got 2.
That's spike backhaul. They smoked it off already.
Sarah still has everything, finally using the dart. Lori's position given away. She gets spammed by Flora. What a disaster. They can't get the spike.
Yeah, no spike.
10 seconds left.
Big out from Benita, but time is short. Clara forgot it. She's going to get the spike down. She's going to get challenged instantly. There's no time to plan anymore.
Thrifty.
Alexis just has to survive, and she does.
Back-to-back thrifties for opposing sides. Talk about an alarming trend. Maybe the match overall. That was such a good gamble from version 1. That was just classics there. Entirely. There's 3 stacked backside, and there was 1 molly. That's why I'm saying we need to see how the clear here is for Shopify, because you could definitely use a lot of utility to fully fight it out. Molly from Benita, Molly's from Flowerful, but you can tell as well their idea is more focused towards post plant, so less so on the execute, less so clearing. Try to get the spike down. And that costed them.
From a position of power to a lighter buy once again for Shopify. 5 pistols. I mean, they're all together. They've cleared out the turret. That Molly's going to delay just a bit. Just like that, Sandra's dealt with. They haven't cleared out main either, so you still got Mel, who's able to get 2 clean ones.
And then Sarah swinging on the final one too. That shot from Sarah. Both of them going in so perfectly. And actually, Mel uses the high tide against them in that case. Not exactly sure what they were trying to plan there. But finally, a standard anti-eco.
Yeah, no thrifty. We broke the trend.
Up in the hand of Fluorescent too. She's up and down being long. Looks like the same Sonder position that we saw in the first half. Saw how she was playing around that. She needed somebody to break whatever drone came through from the side of V1.
Water rising.
And Alexis is there for exactly that role.
That cut off the alarm bot. It looks like it's on their side of the wall.
Yeah. Definitely doesn't. Either way, you wouldn't be able to walk into sewers or be like, just clean up for us. Without spending a dash, the difference there.
They've invested the Reckoning. And Saunders, the first one there, and she was pretty far up initially, but now has company, now has help. But Noya hasn't been cleared out. She still has an alarm bot to work with too, or excuse me, a Molly, the Hunter's Fury, and that's going to push them off. They can't commit to the plan here. So they freeze for just a moment, and Alexis is going to show up at just the right time. She's on the
Spike
flank through
planted.
art.
Another dart coming too.
Did that knife hit? That knife hit powerful? I don't know. The timing on this is going to be really big. There's nowhere for them to funnel out. There's nowhere for them to go that's safe. They're trapped in. But either way, through that, they find some safety in main.
They have Astral. They have Astral. They could just wall everybody off here. They have to push through now. This is so...
Get out of
This
my
has to be
way.
desperate from Shopify. What can they do?
Wall off, waiting through it. His floor flashed off. Had to take a step back. Alexis on the kill on Delori, on the tap. Do they have anyone looking? Yeah, they do. Noise there. Jumping through the wall, trying to find a kill, trying to find some space, and they cannot.
That one hurts. Did all the right things going for them. One thing there, actually, that V1 used as a counter there. They shot Sarah's dart into the cove that KP played after the Hunter's Fury went through. And then they broke the cove. So the dart, they thought, oh, it's fine. They missed the dart. It's not going to tag anybody. They broke it, and then all of a sudden it tags everybody on the side of Shopify. So you start to feel really, really uncomfortable there, playing in your regular post-line positions that V1 have just seen. And that's why that falls apart.
Like Housing Divide certainly helps as well. Back on pistols for Shopify. Back on another potential for a Thrifty, which seems to be coming in abundance on this map.
Got double molly here to cancel this though.
Alexis feeling so much pressure. They tried to delay with the mollies, both from Killjoy and from KO, but it was just too much. Clean snap out from Moyo, traded back instantly. Now they have to get through a pit.
Round two. Oh, pit's
That's
down.
the pit! That's the pit! And now Floor getting one with the blades. Sonder trying to find space, and Sarah stuffs it. Version 1 at 12.
This is
Match point.
disgusting on the defense here from V1. Over and over, Shopify gets into really good positions over and over and over. Sonder there dashing through the mollies, getting ahead of what setup V1 had there, taking down the one player who was there. I believe it was Alexis.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And then they're able to pressure Noya out completely. Yeah, sure, she gets one.
Down B.
But you take those, and then Sarah, oh, what is Benita's plant there? She's trying to stay away from, how? She's trying to stay away from the spam, and they still get her. She was literally
She was in the
two
middle of the
bodies
site.
away.
Yeah. Unreal. Shopify calling a late timeout here. Facing a 2-0 deficit in this best of 5. And you got to wonder, Bala, again, yeah, the roster may be a little bit different. The banner may be a little bit different that they're facing, and that it's version 1 this time instead of Cloud9. But for Shopify, these players have been here. They've been here so many times where they finally get to the grand final, they look untested, and then they meet the seemingly unstoppable force.
Yeah.
And you go, oh no, not again.
And 3 of those grand finals appearances by this team. Once Benita joined, they made it to grand finals. Started making it to every single one, and here they are again. But 3 of those were 3-0 wins from the players on version 1 right now. So, in effect, right now, they're reliving their nightmares.
Revealing area.
You've seen how often KP talks about how she wants to stuff it to Mel, to Alexis, to all the players who were on that dynasty last year.
Yeah.
And now, you must have gone into the season, if you're KP, if you're any player on Shopify, thinking, okay, this is our chance.
Yeah, they split up.
We beat them last time. We caused them. I mean, if I'm them, I'm thinking in my head, we caused them to blow up.
Yeah.
Realistically, it was Ye's buyout, but you saw how that went, so. And now here it is again.
Initiated.
Mel and Alexis have won every single Game Changers title that there was ever possible here in North America. Only stumbled at the last hurdle, but now it's back to business for them.
Scanning ahead.
The plant there, this time, not in the cove. The dart, looking for any sort of tags, any sort of info throughout the site. They're going to retake with the lockdown, but Sonder's positioning may be good. The timing may be even better. Is Floor patient? Is she diligent? She was, but it doesn't matter. Sonder lands a shot.
One enemy remaining.
KP, backside, huge 3K, looking for the 4th. No, Alexis wins it out.
they're not in position, actually. Alexis might be able to just go for this right now.
Flashed from so far away. Half pulls off, waiting for the challenge, and she gets one, but ultimately meets her demise.
Oh, that was scary. If there was
Yes,
somebody
it
in
was.
main, there's obviously a lot less risk in that situation. But everybody, Art, you have to be so far back. You saw how desperate they were to dash back in the face of a defuse full stick.
Enemy remaining.
Alexis, if she was slightly faster after taking out KP, that could have been just a full stick. Either way, again, Shopify getting into such good positions, but that KJ ult caused them to get so scrappy. And KP with the 3K on site, heroics to save them in this game.
Desperately needed. Floor's gone hunting. The flash tagging, and you wonder if the flash popped on this side of the cascade, you assume that someone's pushed up long.
Toxins going
It's a really nice way to segment the information
Yeah.
that the flash gives you. So good shout on that one.
Time to hunt.
Once again, Lori. Trailblazer down Art. They've really given up on that high tide that gives them B-Link control to break the alarm bot. They really weren't even using it for that purpose. Instead opting to use a cascade. Now both of them are gone. One down B-Long, one down Art. But they set up the KJ here.
Toxins going up.
Remember, Floor has that op. Yeah, flashed off instantly. Has to play around the Viper wall. Give up the space for now. But surely this is the cue. They know where the hit's coming from, and Floor may be in some trouble here. The Cloudburst, as she continues to dance around the utility, looking for another, not able to land the shot, staying alive, but for how long?
30
I
seconds
would have
left.
lost my mind if she had gotten one. But Alexis does. Plant through, and those shot darts do not feel good. KP down to 22 HP.
Lori hit by that too.
Powerful pushing forward. Noi is there, ready to greet. You've got a player backside, and in the hands of Anita, yeah, she gets
enemy
one,
remaining.
but that's all it is, and it's going to leave Lori alone. This 1v3, seemingly impossible. Can she delay long enough for the spike to go down? She gets two. Noi in the 1v1, and Noi gets the 3K on the round to get the defuse, to put Shopify on a back foot, on their ropes, and take a 2-0 series lead.
What a retake once again from
Defenders
B1.
win.
It's just so consistent. The level this team has reached for being together for less than half a year already and barely having many tournaments to play, but you already know how much they were grinding in the offseason. They played the Astral Clash LAN, they played the Open Qualifiers for VCT, they played every single event that they could possibly go for as a full team, and they've been boot camping like crazy. And if you saw them at the beginning and you see them now, you should be shocked at how well they're playing so far. Obviously, we expected great things out of them, but right now they're starting off right exactly where Mel and Alexis left off, and that's not dropping maps in the grand finals.
One potential map, potentially one map away from this dynasty continuing, from the clean sweeps continuing. And I mean, how do you really describe a run such as this? The nice thing is Shopify still have a chance. It's a best of 5. You still have a couple of maps to have to work your way through this, but it's going to be quite a mountain climb in order to get there. We're going to throw it to a break. When we return, this best of 5 continues. Don't go anywhere.